Hello out there, guys. Hope you're doing fantastically well. I am here today in another part of Mexico. I'm in a place called Puerto Escondido, which is in Oaxaca. Oaxaca is famous for its food, and this place is really chill. Not new age chill, it's like a surfing town. It's got really beautiful beaches and coves, really stunning area. And the great thing is, guys, no noise. I won't speak too soon, but at the moment it's really quiet here in this town. And of course, I'm absolutely loving that because, as you guys know, I face many issues when it comes to noise and NPCs and yeah, that kind of thing. So, I'm glad to be doing this here. Before I get into the content of today, if you're new around here, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. All that jazz really helps me out. And I'm going to get into something that I've already spoken about. I actually made a video on this maybe a couple of years ago now. And I was just thinking about it again on the plane here. I made this video called "Why God is a Demon" around, like I say, around 2 years ago. You can find it on my channel. I'll link it here. And I thought I need to speak more about this because the idea of God is basically integral into most people's lives, right? Whichever version you believe in. And when we look around us, not to say that there's not beauty and we can't experience love and things like that, but the overarching energy of this realm is trauma based, it's suffering, it's anxiety, it's fear, and the amount of atrocities that have gone on in human history with a so-called loving God there in the background, who, let's not forget, is watching everything that you do. He's judging everything that you do. And if you don't worship him, you know where you're going. You're going into the inferno to burn forever and ever, because that's how much he loves you. And it's just crazy, but so many people believe in it. And don't forget, he works in mysterious ways as well. And we're going to see this. I've got a fly buzzing around my head, fly of the Matrix. He works in mysterious ways, right? So when you have children with cancer and starving in Africa, that's God's way of working in mysterious ways, according to these people, right? And I think we need to call out this God for what it is. It's evil, as I said in the previous video. I believe this to be an evil, demonic AI system which thinks it's God or wants to believe it's God, this narcissistic God that needs your worship, that needs your prayer. And I've said it before, like, what kind of God is so insecure that it needs its very creations to worship it? None of it makes sense. And I use the example of your mother, right? Your mother gave birth to you. Is your mother there in the background phoning you up? Why are you not worshipping me? Why are you not praying to me? Of course not. But what is it with this God that needs all of this? Because it needs your energy, right? Because it powers the matrix. When you're giving this energy to this God and you're praying, and I've said so many times the word prayer, you'll pray for something. Like the leopard chasing the antelope, you're the prey for this AI evil God. And how often have people prayed for peace? And yet, where is it? Right? And we're going to hear another example of this in a minute. And there's a lot of people out there saying that this God is all loving and it loves you and all this stuff. And I have to say, it's BS, right? This matrix God, at the very least, right? Now, I believe there to be an intelligent creation behind everything. I don't know whether that comes from a place of love, but it's certainly not here to save us. And I believe we have that fractal within us. This is why this matrix wants you to keep looking out of yourself, outside of yourself, for things to save you, because it knows that if you actually do the work, expand your level of consciousness to the point where you realize, okay, I'm the answer that I'm looking for, then it's a game changer, because they can't use their Trojan horses to funnel you into different cul-de-sacs, whether that be angels, whether that be a belief in Buddhism, in Jesus, in aliens, anything like that. They don't care what you believe in. This fly's really irritating me. They don't care what you believe in, as long as you believe in something and give away your power. And so we live in this trauma-based society, which is designed for suffering. Why is it designed for suffering? Because this God thrives on that energy. These entities thrive on that energy. It's their food, it's their caviar. They feed on all energy, but their caviar is fear, anger, frustration, depression, death, all that stuff. That's their nutrition. So they need this reality to be this way. It's designed like this. And so I'm going to read you a passage of this book that I've actually mentioned before on my channel. Now, a disclaimer, it is quite upsetting, right? And if you don't want to hear it, then you can turn me down for a couple of minutes or whatever. But this is an example of how trauma-based this reality is, and where, in this example, no doubt that these women, in this case, would have prayed. They would have prayed to a God for help in their situation, as parents with children who have cancers and people living in extreme poverty would also pray for help for God. Where is he? He's absent. He's abandoned. Well, I would say he doesn't care, because he wants it this way. So I'm going to read it. It's from this book, Hellstorm. It goes into what really happened in the World War II, and in Germany, and to the German people. I'm not going to go into the details of it, because YouTube won't like me talking about this, no doubt. So you can find this book. It's on Amazon. It really is the hardest read ever. And so I just want to read this passage here. This page here is the page that triggered me to make this video, because it's clear from reading this page that there is no God that people are praying to that are going to come and help. And there is, the other thing with this passage is karma. Again, this idea of karma. What on earth could these women have done to experience such atrocities? And where is the karma for the people that did these things to them? So I'm going to read this now. So, loud howls of approval began when someone brought a saw from a tool chest. This was used to tear up the breasts of the other girls, which soon caused the floor to be awash with blood. The Russians were in a blood frenzy. More girls were being brought in continually. I saw these grisly proceedings as through a red haze. Over and over again I heard the terrible screams when the breasts were tortured, and the loud groans at the mutilation of the genitals. It was always the same, the begging for mercy, the high-pitched scream, the prayers when the breasts were cut, and the groans when the genitals were mutilated. The slaughter was interrupted several times to sweep the blood out of the room and clear away the bodies. When my knees buckled, I was forced onto a chair. The commissioner always made sure that I was watching, and when I had to throw up, they even paused in their tortures. One girl had not undressed completely. She may also have been a little older than the others, who were around 17 years of age. They soaked her bra with oil and set it on fire. and while she screamed, a thin iron rod was shoved into her vagina until it came out of her navel. In the yard, entire groups of girls were clubbed to death after the prettiest of them had been selected for this torture. The air was filled with death cries of many hundreds of girls. This is what happened to German women, guys. So that's just one trauma-based story of this realm. And I'm sorry I had to read that, but for two reasons. Their story needs to be told, is the first reason that I decided to read it. And the second reason is to underpin the point that I'm making about this matrix God that everyone's giving their energy to. It doesn't care, it's evil, and it wants your energy, and it wants pain, suffering, and torture. And people need to get over this idea of God. And like I say, I'm not saying that there's not some creative intelligence out there. Don't misquote me. But what is going on, what people are giving their energy to in this realm is absolutely demonic. And these people that did this, if people deny to me that demonic entities don't exist, these people were fully hosted with demonic entities to do the things that they did, to commit those atrocities. Only a human that was fully possessed could do that to another human, to women, to young women, to children. And honestly, the book is it's the hardest read, but it's full of truth. And so I would encourage you to read it if you can stomach it. So guys, I'm sorry that video was a little bit on the downside there, but it's important to make these points because people are so brainwashed. They're so brainwashed with this idea that this loving creator is going to save them, is going to help them, is going to turn up like a knight in shining armor and solve all their problems. And I see it all the time when something happens. I'll send you prayers. Like, what does that do? Nothing. It does nothing. It keeps people away from taking self-responsibility for their own actions. And then they've got the guile to use karma against us, to use karma against those women. Now, some of these New Agers, they'll tell you that those women must have done something bad in a previous life. Are you shitting me? Like, the whole thing makes zero sense, and yet so many people believe in it all. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Take care.